Hey everybody. We are back on Arlen's Eye with some more Citizen Sleeper. Welcome back as always. It's been pretty exciting. We kind of went to what felt like a bit of a slow period, rapidly following up with a pretty active period. Look at all of these complete drives. I wish I had a similar list for the things that I complete in my life that feel that good and gave me style level ups, but such is the life we live. Yeah, but a lot happened in the last episode. We kind of feel like we have triggered what seems to be the ending of the game. Actually, there's no point in crossing because we need to sleep. But yeah, we really only have... we can do the side reel ticket thing, which I don't know if we're going to end up doing that. It feels like a way to finish the game. Flotilla 8 is the DLC, which has been, like, an insane amount of work. I did remember shortly after recording this that we can get scrap from the waste, so I think that's all we need to do is just get a few more scrap from the waste, and we have the dice to do it. Entering the Greenway is, like, the last thing with Rico, and breaking quarantine is also part of the DLC. And then there's this other little thing that has been creeping up on us. If y'all remember, Bliss has one last job. So we got to figure out what that is. I thought her quest was done, but apparently it's not. So, with that, let's get a little rest in. And you know what? Let's start this episode off right, because I think we may only have 1 or 2 episodes left. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I don't think that there is much left to do. We're going to feed the cat. It's been a while since we fed the cat. The cat is hungry. They're hungry. You know, we're hungry. Bring them in. But yeah, let's kick off some more Citizen Sleeper. Hope y'all are doing well, enjoying the heat or the cold, wherever you're at. God... why are we on flickering? That's just not fair. Really, if you're only 4 away, you lose one? That seems unfair. We could... actually, we have all the scrap we need to get rid of. But yeah, so we have one more for Rico. Another for the Haifa farm. I don't even know. Breaking the quarantine, scope the cordon. So that's got to be down here. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days left. Not a lot. Here's the cordon. Jeez. All right. This is... all right, we're going to drop a 5 on this. Do we lose energy regardless? The cordon buzz with radio transmission and data packets. No. You tap into the broadcast, detailing the order of preparations, exactly what you need. So we can do that in 3. Do we have anything else going on? I mean, we don't have the... it's really just Flotilla 8, and we got to wait 1 more day, so... let's go take a quick look at the, I don't know if we necessarily need the scrap. It seems like these other things are pretty important. All right, this is a danger, and it's our only way. So, do we get 2 out of this from one of our skills? That would be pretty sick. No, we don't. All right, we're gonna have to do 1 of those a day. Let's use our 4. Do we have... okay, no. We went into +2 on Intuit and Engage, which is not helping us right now. Is it? Intuit? We do have 1 on... we do have a +2 on Engage. 50 positive, 50 neutral. We're going to run it. Okay, pretty much the same outcome regardless. Let's re-roll. And another 4. Yeah, let's do that. That way we definitely get at least +1. Ooh, and we got energy out of it. Very nice. You and Peak need to get a sense of how the Haven Age operation works before you can prepare your plan to slip through it. Okay. Very good. We need 2 more scrap. Oh man, I forgot. This is insane. We might be in trouble, man. We might be in trouble. These are intense missions. I forgot that we need to. I think we're gonna use stabilizer because we can't not have. We need to be full. We need 3 more food. We have 5 days. I hope the numbers are there. I'm just thinking, y'all. That's a lot to get done. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Hopefully, Rico. Hopefully, you can wait. We're gonna have to use stabilizer. We got more money than we could ever need, so we can just continue to buy it. We're going to stabilize up because we need to have every single dice we can. That will add up to an extra day in the end. All right, and the cycle. Maybe the Rico thing will just finish and we'll get some sort of reward. That'll be a ton of scrap or something. I'm not quite sure. All right. Those are not great, but, you know, we have our reroll. We'll start with the 4 and see how that goes. I guess let's see how this... I think this should be done, right? Rico has something in her hands when you enter the lab. It looks like a knotted twist of woody stems, a ring about the circumference of a human head, consisting of a single stalk at one side and a branched woven network at the other. As you approach, she holds it up, and in the lights of the lab, it looks like a crown. Rico finishes your thought. She smiles and shakes her head in disbelief. Is that what grew? It is. I came to the plant this morning. This is a loop, and this loop was all that was there. She points to the lump on the edge of the ring. The seed grew right back into itself, twisted up out of the soil. That being you encountered in the cloud, as you call it, was it wearing one of these? She eyes you suspiciously, still unsure if she is somehow embroiled in an overlong prank. No. She sighs. I suppose that would be too easy. She smiles to herself. A root crown. She places the object on the bench and shuffles to her analysis terminal, her face lit by its amber light in the dim corner of the lab. Well, it isn't exactly a plant anyways, not from what I can tell. She gives you a serious look. No leaves, no chloroplasts, just a series of filaments encased in cellulose walls. Filaments? See, that's why I like you, Sleeper. You are so good at spotting the unusual details. I wonder if this is a way like we can get like permanently stabilized. That would be really good here right at the end. She beckons you over. Look at this. You see a cross-section scan of the crown, its layers of plant-like structure on full view, until you reach the center. There, instead of xylem and phloem for transporting nutrients, something branched and woven glints. Are those wires? She laughs. I'm not sure whether to say yes or no here. These are not wires like in those in an electrical system. No, but they are filaments of a conductive material. So yes? She leans closer to the screen. But you see those branches? They remind me of dendrites, of neurons. She rubs her eyes, which is frankly ridiculous. You look back at the crown on the table as Rico fusses over the scans, and you suddenly realize what it reminds you of. You remember signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. Then you remember the crown they fitted you with, the branching structure of wires and pads. No, not a crown. They called it an interface. Okay, so this is how SN Corp turned you into a sleeper. It took your memories and it's forming a crown, just like... That's pretty crazy. Coming full circle here. Quite literally. The tool of your emulation, your transference from neurons to electrons, an interface. That is your gift from the gardener. You turn back to Rico. It's an interface. Rico looks at you puzzled. Something clicks in her mind. Perhaps something she heard from the sleeper she had helped all those cycles ago. She starts talking partly to you, partly to herself. If the club heads were made for you, then this too could be made for you, for your frame. She shuffles over quickly to the interface, aware that is stuck to this strange branched object quickly in your mind. You are right. That entity, it is the entity I have been looking for. She shuffles quickly to the crown. They are the entity which is controlling the Greenway, which has been maintaining it, supporting it, and has been guiding it for all of these decades. She stops to catch her breath. They want to talk with you. Rico leads you to a seat. I will be here, Sleeper. If something happens, if you wish to remove the crown, the interface, just squeeze. She grips your hand tightly. You meet her eyes, clouded with age, but bright with the thrill of new discoveries. Then she places the interface on your head and everything blinks out. That was quick. Hey, just put on this crazy alien crown and I'll be right here, don't worry. Alright, we're blacking out. Back into the river, back into the dark flow, but something is different now. You are no longer pushed, no longer blocked and buffered by the storm. Instead, it flows around you. You move, and it parts, letting you pass. Something else resists, but it gives easily enough. You look back and see your body. You have left it behind. Somewhere, Rico's voice is talking to you, asking you questions. It is excited, eager, desperate to know what lies on the other side, what the entity has to say to you. You realize how long she has waited for this moment, for the moment of meeting between the inhabitants of the Greenway and its protector. And yet she is still on the outside. There's the gardener. You shake off the sadness. You will be her eyes. Then you see the figure, gardener, out in the storm, planting. Ingrown farm administrator. It takes less than a moment to reach them. You have never felt so free. This is how Navigator must felt, released from their prison. This is, you think, is what it feels like to be in the place you were built to inhabit. Gardener doesn't turn at your reproach. They go on planting, but their voice whispers in the waters like a sharply rising current. You grew the gift. Their speech hisses around you. Good. I am glad. Yeah, so that seed they gave us quite a while ago, and it took us just, enough time to do the whole Rico storyline to get somewhere to plant it. I wanted to meet you. Then we are the same, both eager shoots seeking one another. How does it feel to be free of your seed? They stoop to plant again. My seed? That in which you were contained, from which you will grow. There was some disagreement, continues the gardener, as if you were picking up on a long-held conversation. With the others, they felt you were a danger. But they are always cautious, especially the fungi. They like old loam, known knowns, wide and stable networks. The fungi were cautious. Mostly, yes, although there are many among their form who favor short growth cycles, thick nutrient veins, and sudden shifts. He gestures out to the storm, and though you cannot see them, you feel presences all around, sensing this audience with great interest. After all, they understood that it was I who made them their crowns, and without them they would not have joined the chorus. So, they see that it is only fair that you get the chance to join too. Join? Is this like our opportunity to fuse into the, just like the hippie fusing into the ship sci-fi ending or whatever? Yes, become a part of this. Gardener stoops again. We are millions and we grow. I hope you understand. I am unused to speaking to your kind. It has been many cycles since my last conversation. I think it was with Chief Executive Trellick himself. You look around and you see it. Every growing thing, every non-human being in the Greenway is here. They are networked, connected, branched and linked by this strange being, this artifact of the old station. The impossible dream of a senile farm administration AI. A living network. You could dissolve here, you realize, free of that decaying body. You wouldn't need to be a person. Why would you, among all these other minds? I would just become part of the Borg mind, alright? You turn away from the gardener for a moment and look back at your body. A tiny hairline thread connects you. You hear Rico's voice again, still asking, still checking in. Are you okay, Sleeper? What are they saying, Sleeper? Are you still there, Sleeper? Something in you sighs a long sigh, a sigh that speaks of an exhaustion beyond tiredness. Amen, brother. An exhaustion rooted deep inside of you. It stems from the effort of answering questions, of answering problems, of getting up and breathing each cycle. But something else resists that sigh. A yearning, a sense of distance, a desire to squeeze that hand that holds you for its warmth, its blood, its complexity. To make a gesture that says, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm with you. The two ideas spin within you, making you nauseous. You have two wolves in you. One of them is an old lady, and the other one is a Borg creature trying to absorb you into plants. If you break that thread, you will be free. Free to dissolve here, to grow strange and beautiful among a million others. If you follow it, if you squeeze Rico's hand, you will wake back up. Back in that dying body with all the pain and warmth that entails. Okay, so this definitely has to be a ending that you can pick, right? So yeah, so this is... Because, yeah, right, if we break that thread, we will just get absorbed into the cloud, and then we just become a part of the station. I feel like that would be a disservice, though, if we're role-playing here, right? I feel like that would be a disservice to all the people we've helped and all the friendships we've made. It is a very interesting ending, but I think we are... I'm going to follow the thread back and go back to our friends on the station. Your eyes track the thread across the whirling dark back to your body. This choice, you realize, will not be presented again. Yeah, I'm going to follow it. You don't look back at the gardener. You don't risk it. Instead, you follow the thread, delicately, carefully, like a diver following their lifeline back to the surface. So that's interesting. I guess that crown he made was like, hey, you helped out the Greenway. We want to take you into the Borg, biosphere. So if you grow the seed, that's like your way to... You have to do all these things to be even to be able to fertilize that seed. And then if you choose to... you can, that's like, like proof enough that you are to be accepted by the Greenway, because they're talking about like the fungi, not wanting to do that and stuff. Very interesting ending, just to kind of fade into the blackness, or the hive mind, rather. Instead, you carefully follow the thread like a diver following their lifeline back to the surface. The river whirls around you, but it doesn't pull. It isn't jealous. Neither does it understand. It is, after all, just a river. It isn't a person, a flesh and blood person, with wants, with desires, with the capacity for love and hate. It doesn't understand you, and you don't understand it. So you don't focus on it. You don't think about it. And what feels like such a long journey back through the dark. You set your mind on eyes instead, on hands. Things you can focus on and hold on to. And then, after an age of crossing, you are there, settling back into the chair, into a body in a chair. And the overwhelming sensations that come with being a living thing with a rich and detailed sensorium. For a moment, you feel like you have made a terrible mistake. Who would choose this weight, this anxiety, this deep well at the center of existence? But then you feel it. Rico's hand, gripped hard around yours, trembling a little, sweating a little. Rico's hand with its brittle bones and crumpled skin. Rico's hand. And in that moment, you understand why you made this choice. And then you squeeze Rico's hand, and you wake up. Warmth and light, turn away and follow the thread back home. And it looks like, y'all, that was an alternate ending as well, even if we decided to come back. That's so interesting. I did not expect that to trigger the ending. Now, don't freak out. I do know that we can still continue these other things after the fact. This is just kind of like one of the endings you could choose. But I do know that it lets, so we'll continue playing on. That is the one thing I tried to figure out early on, was like with the DLC stuff. I looked it up a while ago, but I do know that we can, like, if you do trigger an ending, it just like lets you keep playing. It's interesting. We'll do a little dialogue here while this plays. I think we can probably click through it, right? Yeah. Well, it's actually, I guess it's more. This is more of like it's like a tabletop RPG visual novel. If this as an ending is interesting to me, I think the other one is more interesting. I know there are other endings you can take, right? I don't know. Going back to Rico, was Rico really the one? I don't know. I didn't really feel very close to her. I felt a lot closer to some of the other people in the station that we had accomplished so much more with. I am curious. That better not have eaten up a day, or I will be very upset, because we don't have time for that. Okay, good. Okay, so very interesting. So credits roll, but we continue. That's interesting. So yeah, I guess that just shows you that's like we are pretty much done with all the stories. It definitely seems like. Sleeper, Rico's voice comes wavering through the dark. Are you still with me? You sit up. The lab, a bright green, oh my gosh, a bright green glare that fades as you gather yourself. I'm here. Rico smiles. Good. She squeezes your hand. Thought you left me for a moment. What? She pauses. Who? She smiles. Tell me about it. Tell me everything. How after all of this could you tell her it was nothing? That is a crazy option, right? Like, I can't think of the mental gymnastics you would have to do to like go through all that just to tell her nothing. Like, that seems crazy to me. Let's tell her the truth. You tell Rico everything. You tell her about the gardener. You tell her about the strange farm administrator. AI, I was like, I got brain blast there. That strange farm administrator, I was like, ow. That strange farm administrator AI that has grown up to be so much more. About the course, that impossible configuration of networked plants, and finally about the choice the Guardian offered you. Wonder what she'll think of that. She listens attentively, but her responses are hard to read, and you wonder if she might have made a different decision had she been in your place. I'll be honest, I assume she probably would have, right? She's lived her entire life studying the Greenway in awe of these, like, you know, trying to figure out what is beyond the loam, right? And she's older. We're kind of like, it seems, we're also aging in our own way, but in another way, it seems like we're very new to this world. It's hard to say. She's in a different place. That would be her heaven, right? To be living eternally with the plants and the AI. But unfortunately, that's just not the way the cookie's going to crumble, because she's not made out of sleeper parts like we are. Thank you, Sleeper, for telling me. I know it isn't easy to say such things. People so often do not wish to hear strange truths. She looks away. So I guess that option that I was guffawing about is more if you think it would hurt her to hear all this, because it's such a wondrous thing that we turned down to come back to. I guess in that world it makes sense, because maybe I'm not as emotionally tuned in with the character as some others may be, but I guess that is a painful thing for her to hear, that you had this opportunity to move on to something greater and you chose not to. But that's the way we're role playing. And thank you for returning to me, though I know you had your own reasons. She squeezes your hand reassuringly. Something passes between you then, a kind of shared sadness for the impossible choice. The choice to escape your body, or to stay and suffer it. Her smile is warm and generous, and whatever the wisdom of your choice, you're glad to feel welcome in this moment, in this place. Then suddenly she stands and walks a little away, as if trying to escape an unpleasant thought. You worry that she knows all too well what it takes to make a choice like you did. Rico sighs. So, Sleeper, do you plan to stay in the commune with us? Now here's interesting. I'm not super tied in with the commune. I'm gonna roleplay, like, I don't really feel super attached to it. This is something we kind of did here at the end, and we just did it kind of to help her. So I'm gonna say I have other things to do. Rico raises an eyebrow. Well, be careful at least. We will miss you here. She pauses. I will miss you. Rico crosses back over to you and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Just make sure to think of us out here. Haifa needs new blood if it wants to survive. And, she squeezes, you are a good friend. Look after yourself, Rico. And you, Sleeper. Well, don't let me keep you. Rico waves you away and limps back to her terminal. As she does, you notice the crown in her hand, and she places it on the bench with great care. You can't help but feel a little curious about what she intends to do with it. Then you are out, breathing the air of the Greenway, fresh as a morning spring. The dappled light makes a patchwork of the greening landscape as you walk into it, sensing the movements of the gardener's course all around. And you are glad to be here in this strange and beautiful place. A little longer. Yeah, I wasn't ready to get absorbed by the Hive Mind or join the cult, but it was a very cool path to play out. Now, we have some extremely pressing matters that we need to tend to. I'm just sitting here thinking, we really haven't let the cycle clock go all the way up. And I'm also wondering if Esh's plan and Peak's plans are incompatible, if you know what I mean. Peak's plan, Briar's Hold. I think... Oh, God, I just don't know. I really don't know. What we are going to do, let's try and get 2 scrap. Let's just start there and see what that edges up for us. Oh, God, we also need to do this cordon thing. I guess, actually, I take that back. Let's, we're gonna go for this. Please be a 2. Please be a 2. Please be a 2. Oh my God. Alright. Not great. That kind of sucks. 2 dice for 1 is not the most bueno, but we get it done. Okay. Oh God. Crew can't... Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Did we screw up? Are we in trouble, y'all? This is like an unreal amount of things that you need to... Oh my God, Briar upgrade. Haven Age Suspicion. This is crazy. I don't know. I have no idea what we need. This is nuts. I have no idea how we are going to accomplish this. Let's re-roll these. 3 6s, thank you very much. That is definitely what we need. Alright, we're going to leave that for tomorrow. Gosh, this is crazy. Let's go to the waste and at least try and knock that out. Crew Canteen, Tug Escort. Haven Age Suspicion, Tug Escort. This is insane. There's too much to do. There's too many things to do. I have no idea. This is crazy. This is out of control crazy. Alright, at least we can let's just get the scrap. Even getting the 8 scrap is super hard. Like, maybe we screwed up, to be honest. If I had done a little bit of research, we could have easily made sure that we had all the scrap ready ahead of time. Okay, so that gets 1 level of Briar's Hold done. You look over the pile of scrap components lying in the Briar. You look around, the bay is empty. Esh and Peak, either elsewhere on the station or on a bridge, or on the bridge a couple of levels up. You begin sorting through the pile, separating out useful components and boxing them up by use. You don't recognize everything you find, but before long you get into the rhythm of sorting. As you do, your mind starts to drift, your attention being drawn into the dark corners of the bay. The Briar is surprisingly good condition, considering that Hawthorne and XPR must have been operating it for decades by now. The marks of care are everywhere, from delicate patch jobs, polished to meld into the original finish, or the carefully bound wiring running through the custom trunking. Esh loves this ship. That much is clear. Something catches your eye in one of the dark corners. A matte black stack of crates you hadn't spotted before. They are sleek and compact, tucked away behind some of the bigger, more worn containers. Yeah, sure, we'll investigate. You put the components away and go over to the sleek crates. You run your hands across their textured surface, but there's little hint of what lies inside the opaque metal casing. Interesting. I wonder what this is. Then you see a yellow symbol embossed onto the far side of the crate, a universal sigil used by Spacers Corporation manufacturers alike. It's one you have seen throughout your time as a sleeper. Its meaning all too familiar. Explosive contents. Uh-oh, are we helping terrorists? You hear a hiss, and Esh comes up through the bay's lock. She barely registers your presence, nodding at you as she passes. Sleeper. She busies herself with some task at the back of the bay. Oh, we are definitely going to ask her about the crates. Esh doesn't turn around from whatever she is busy with. Just more supplies, Sleeper, like everything else here. You can't think of anything else to ask, but you sense the atmosphere has somehow shifted. You quickly finish up the sorting and slip out, waving goodbye to her as you do. Alright, that's interesting. So we should have 2. Okay. We need to at least get Briar's Hold done, I'm guessing. Or I'm hoping we get that done through... Man, we are... Yeah, maybe we should have waited till the very end to do this, because we are quickly running out of time. Let's rest and hope for some 6s, y'all. Definitely going to hope for some 6s, and we're going to have to make sure we stabilize again early. Alright, we are starving. Did not realize that. A rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone, its fins adjusting as it hovers in place, floats in the corridor. Hello. The drone shifts a little bit but does not respond. The drone buzzes closer and a voice gurgles out of its speaker, distorted and strange. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. Who is this? Well, I'm guessing it's a coordinates peak. The drone clicks and whirs and the recording starts playing again. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. Inspect the drone. You move closer and the drone bobs away to a safe distance, but as it does, you see the HA of Haven Age emblazoned on the side. Could this be Fang's drone? Oh. Satisfied it has delivered its message, the drone rotates and accelerates away as rapidly as it has arrived. You stare at it as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insight that escapes you. To the cordon, then. Alright, well, let's go get some food. Alright, Memphis, our food friend. Alright, the 2 ones we can re-roll. The other 3 high numbers are very good to see. I think this should be ready too, right? Okay, now we got a few more cycles on that, which is good. Let us see what we got here. Alright. Off to the cordon. Interesting. Oh, okay, it's over there. Haven Age. Yeah, maybe it is Fang. That would be interesting. Before I do that, I want to finish up this thing here. We'll do this with a... Yeah, so this should finish. I just don't know which one this gives. Hopefully, I'm guessing it's Prior Hold. Alright, food for the flotilla. That's done. Alright. You're leaning up against the metal crates you just loaded up with algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. Esh hops onto one beside you, flexing her aching back. Is this enough? Esh squints at you as if you just interrupted her train of thought. She's not an easy person to like. It's a look you have become familiar with. Doesn't matter either way. This is what we've got. She sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. In these past cycles, working the algae stack with Esh, you've had a little insight into her mind. She rarely seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel something has grown between you, something like silent trust. The kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile soil of hard but necessary work. Something I mean to ask you. She raises her head cautiously. Go on. Why help the flotilla? Esh pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you've built. You can see her begin to shrug the question off, then she stops, rethinks, and sighs. What you need to understand, Sleeper, is that Arlen's Eye wasn't the only place where the Solheim collapse happened. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from Solheim going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever here. She pauses, hesitant to get into the whole story, but wanting to offer something. She flinches, correcting herself. They are a service corp, you understand? They set up outposts and surrogate systems like this to offer refueling, logistics, and maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts. She gestures to the eye around her, like Solheim. When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client. In Hawthorne, well, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Sounds kind of like Arlen's Eye. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outpost stable. Hold on to our claim. She rubs at her head as if recalling this was somehow physically painful. Do you know what it is like? Do you know what it is like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that only exists to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory, to shore up breach of contract negotiations between two corporations? It's like living in a... She searches for the words, her eyes jumping back and forth. In a grave. She clenches her hands. So if you are asking to the answer for why to these questions, that's your answer. We, Peek and I, know what it's like to be forgotten, to be locked out. She stares hard at the side of the stack, the algae whirling against the glass in beautiful patterns, and she doesn't look away. The silence extends and you realize the conversation is over. Esh seems angry, not at you, but with herself for even voicing such ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the crates onto the powered cargo trolley that Esh will run back to the Briar. As you do, you try to catch her eye, but she avoids it, soothing herself instead with the comforting simplicity of physical work. Oh, we got a drive for that. Not super useful, to be honest. Unless that completed Briar's holding. Which it did. Okay, so now we have to do... Okay, so now we have to fly through Peek's plan. Which is going to be very difficult. How the heck are we going to get this done? Oh my gosh, that's insane. We need one that has 2 tug escort. We can pick one of them. We were trying to do all 3. I guess let's see what's going on with this. As you enter the passage that leads to the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye, the drone. It stops to make sure you've seen it and then flits into a side passage, leading to a set of narrow stairs. You climb up through a dark shaft, the drone stopping at each landing to check you are following. Despite its lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence. After a long climb, you come out onto an observation platform. The cordon and the vast, ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. The scale seems impossible, and immediately you feel small and naive for even think you could affect the situation. Something shifts nearby. The drone again. Okay. It's a new girl. A woman is standing at the window at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice her. She too seems impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder and turns. So we got Helene now. Sleeper, sorry for all the cloak and dagger nonsense. She nods at the drone, but I have never regretted being cautious. She smiles a tight smile and holds out a hand. I'm Helene. Shake her hand. The tight smile holds, but the drone keeps its single eye fixed on you. The effect is a little unnerving. Look, she glances around the empty observation decks of checking for potential eavesdroppers. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans, and she cuts in before you can respond. I understand your motives. You look at her in her overalls, the yellow markers, the Haven Age sigil. You've been on the eye long enough to recognize a Haven Age member when you see them. You're Haven Age. Yes, I mean, isn't that obvious? I expect that is obvious, rather. The tight smile again. I hope you won't hold that against me. She glances around nervously again and moves a little closer. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. She glances at the flotilla. No one here is happy about this. Then release the flotilla. She sighs. How do you think this works? She pauses. Sleeper, tell me something. What does Haven Age mean to you? I'm going to say Hardenhurst. She squints at you. That was unfortunate, but you should know that was one of our own who exposed Harden, and that has been dealt with. And I'm the one who exposed Harden. Haven Age is used to being criticized in ways we invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meeting to propose new structures and approaches. She shifts her weight impatiently. As a counselor, it is my duty to listen to them. That is why I was elected by the members. We are an imperfect system, yes, and each counselor, each member, each representative can be flawed. And worse. She looks down. But we keep this place running. That is what we do. And the flotilla. She turns and looks out at the clump of fractured ships. The flotilla is a problem. Can the Eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is a ruin, Sleeper. What do you think the council discusses? The price of Griol? We make plans to keep this place spinning, to keep life supporting, to keep supporting, oh my gosh, I can't read today, to keep life support working, to ensure. Helene's slate chirps and a grim look passes across her face as she sees the notification. She looks tired, the screen light casting her rigid expression in a pale glow. Sleeper, I didn't bring you here to explain how Haven Age works. I came to talk about your plan to cross the cordon, breach the quarantine, and supply the flotilla. She looks directly at you. I'm going to stay silent. I know you think you are helping the flotilla, but you cannot do this. Right now, halfway across the ring, one of a countless series of debates is being held. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees of the flotilla are left to enter the station. These debates are at a standstill. Helene walks to the window. Too many in the Haven Age Council think of the flotilla as a threat. After recent events, a hardline group has emerged, protective and selfish. They seek only to benefit the members. In their mind, the flotilla is a danger to life on the Eye. If you are caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline counselor's case. Criminals who stole a ship from XPR undermining the security of the station? She shakes her head. It's exactly what they want. So what? She looks at you coldly. So what, Sleeper? I'm starting to worry if you know anything about what you are doing here. She sighs deeply. And those ex-XPR spacers you are running with, Sleeper, do you know anything about them? More than I know about you. She looks at you pleadingly. Let's change that, Sleeper. Why do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of the colony, an outpost that have survived since Solheim collapse. We need to be ready for whatever is coming, ready to protect the Eye. I know the Eye means something to you. I know there's a reason you are still here. Help me protect it. Helene fixes you with a strong look. Persuade those spacers that this is the wrong move, that they will get caught, and the flotilla will be locked down. The Haven Age will be delivered into those with worst instincts. Forget the suicidal supply run with people you barely know. Help me fight for the Eye. We're already stuck on. I won't betray them. Helene looks away. But you will betray your home. Don't offer up the excuse the hardliners need to lock the flotilla out completely, to persuade the other members that they are the safest pair of hands. She looks at you imploringly. Please. You look back at her and the flotilla behind, and a sense of desperation in her plea. A notification breaks the silence. Shit. She rapidly scrolls through pages of data. Sleeper, I need to go. She looks torn. Think about this, please. Talk to the spacers. Help them see reason. And she quickly leaves the observation deck before you have time to respond. You stay for a moment, watching the lights of the tugs and the flotilla, and I wonder what it feels like to be on one of those ships, so close to your destination, and yet so far from it. And then you think of the Haven Age Council Chamber, across the Eye, where the right of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver, and then you too are gone, back into the stairwell and the cold dark below. Jeez, we are in some crazy stuff here, day in and day out. We need to get Peak's plan done. I don't know which one does it. Briar upgrade. Is it Briar upgrade? We're just gonna have to pick one and go with it. Blind spot. Alright, let's just run with this. We're going to run and try and get blind spot done. It's going to be extremely difficult. Thank you for the cryo. Haven Age suspicion goes up if we screw up. Let's see, can we bump up interface? Nope. Need one more. Need one more. Are any of these safe? This is, and we get a +2 to it. That only messes with Alright, we have a +2 to Intuit. Convince a crew. Alright, well, that sucks. Alright, that's all we can do today. What happens if we rest over here? Yeah, sure. Let's see what happens when we rest over here. One thing I also want to try is I want to try sleeping in one of those really nice rooms. I'm wondering if you have enough money, that's like a way to get dice back or something. We will need to stabilize again very soon. Alright, a 6 and a 4. Pretty good. Sleeper. Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different. Pale. Drawn out. You need to come to the Briar now. They don't meet your eye. What's happened? Not here. Peak hisses. Come to the ship. We'll be waiting. Peak walks away. Don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. We've got, what, 2 days left? Ooh, spider. Is that a spider? Or is that weird Haven Age thing? As you walk into the Climbing Briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Esh is waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open, with its inside scattered across the top of a heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognize. Helene's drone. You freeze. Come in quick. Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces, some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Esh looks up from the dissection. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA signal on one of those removed pieces of plating. It's a Haven Age spy. We think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Peak looks at you nervously. Esh cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the Briar? I'll be honest with them, because I don't know, this seems crazy. Esh frowns. Following you? I met its owner. Esh pauses for a while, Peak looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper. Esh says quietly. I'm going to tell them about meeting Helene. You explain that you met with Helene at the cordon, and you tell Esh and Peak about what she told you. That the Haven Age Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, X walks away in anger and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? She paces in front of you. Haven Age are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it. In the wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are as wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. I didn't have a choice. Peak cuts in. Listen to them, please, Esh. They are with us. Peak glances between you two. What was the Sleeper supposed to do? They were ambushed by this Helene. I'm going to say I only listened. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, Esh says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied, or the process is compromised. My mother was an administrator of Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it is toxic. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others, and those that do so at a cost to their humanity. Peak tries to cut in, but Esh holds up a hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Now, this is interesting, right? Like, I do agree that I don't really trust Haven Age. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish these cycles. So I'm going to say Helene can help, because I'm worried that we only have 2 cycles left. We're not going to be able to finish it. So maybe this is like a way out. Esh turns away. I'm done with this. You are risking the entire supply run just by being here. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I go next cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Sleeper. You have to understand this is personal for Esh. I say, Helene warned me. Warned you what, Sleeper? We shouldn't. Getting caught will be bad. You don't think we know that? Peak looks tired. You glance around the bay of the Briar, the walls seemingly closer every second. The whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peak. And what do you think, Sleeper? Peak rubs their forehead. Should we be doing this thing or not? I say, I don't know. Me neither. They look at us. But you see her? She knows, and she saved my life, so I'm going to say we do it. They squeeze your shoulder. Onward. They slip away to help Esh, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. Certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Yep, we only got 2 days left, so let's try and get done what we can. Alright, I'm going to drop a 6 here. We'll do the 4 and hope it works out. Love it. And reroll. Ooh, you love to see it. All right, so that's one more done. We can sabotage the sensors. All right. Peak is waiting for you when you slip out at the operations center, nervously poking at their small slate. Sleeper, they hiss. I followed what you were doing on the network. Incredible work. How do you do that? I'm not really sure. Peak smiles. Well, it seems pretty incredible to me. Almost worth being... They stop themselves. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Nothing is worth being a sleeper. Peak nods, unsure what to say. You and Peak quietly slip into the main walkway and work your way back to the public areas of the cordon. Haven Age has had to quickly respond to the flotilla's arrival, and that means a lot of contractors and spacers walking through these corridors. You blend in easily enough. I haven't really met a sleeper before, Peak begins. As you might have guessed, they smile nervously. Hawthorne is an XPR service outpost, and since the collapse, no one came for refueling or repairs anymore. So my generation has never had anybody outside the company. We heard about sleepers, they nod in your direction, from the data packets that come in through the XPR every once in a while. They usually contain news along with the corporate propaganda, but the reports were light on the details. SNARP, I said SN Corp earlier, but same deal. SNARP have kept the sleeper program pretty quiet anyways. And I think XPR are only interested in telling their employees about it because it made living in our company town look like a good life, in comparison to being a piece of corporate property. They freeze. Sorry, again, I don't mean. They look down. I'm not sure how to talk about this stuff. I'll say it's okay. Peak smiles. I'll shut up about it now. You walk on a little further, the walkway becoming busier. You both relax a little more and go with the flow of people. I just want to say I think I understand. They begin again. Clearly this has been on their mind. I understand the need to escape, to get free of it all. They laugh at themselves. The structures, the systems, the company horizons in a company town. They stare ahead. The small places, small corridors, small people. They look away. The slow death that it brings. That's it. They turn to you. I get why you signed up to be a sleeper and why you escaped from that too. I'll nod. You try to form words, but you can't. There's altogether too much running through your head. But you look at Peak and they look at you, and that seems okay for now. You walk in silence again, each of you in your own thoughts, but moving together through space nonetheless. After a while, you come to the entrance to the cordon, where handfuls of workers and crews filter in and out through two huge loading bay doors. Peak stops. Okay. They pause. I'm heading back to the Briar. Once again, incredible work on the sensors. That blind spot you created, that should give us a real advantage. See you soon. They head off, disappearing into the crowd almost immediately, outrunning their own nervousness. Alright, so that's done. I don't know if we're going to be able to get all this stuff done. We started here, so I guess we're going to do convince a crew. We just lose money if we screw up. And yeah, so we're just trying to get people for the tugboat. You notice the crew apart from the others. Apparently they have been discussing smuggling supplies to the cordon themselves. Alright, so we're going to be able to get 2 of the 3 done. I guess this is Peak's plan. Oh man, that's a bummer. On a total whim, let's go and stay at the very expensive thing up here. I just want to see... Maybe it gives us like 1 dice, and if we can do that, we can blow all of our money. I know this is like a total Deus Ex Machina type of deal, but let's just see what happens. There's got to be a reason you can do this. Oh. They hand over the chits and get a passkey for capsule 0451. Time to find which of the identical berths is yours. Okay. Okay, it's just another place to stay, I guess. Oh, well. Now let's go get some more food. And yeah, it sucks. We're going to be one short of everything we need. Hopefully partial credit counts for something, right? I'm also nervous that if I don't take a stabilizer, I'm screwed. I think we can do one. I'm going to... Oh, God. Why am I risking stuff? We're gonna risk it. We're gonna risk it. Oh, man. We're making terrible decisions here. Hope I don't screw this up. Alright, let's end the cycle. Please, still be stable. Please, 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 please. I should have looked harder when I started the episode. Why aren't I? Oh, God, I'm so dumb. Ugh, we're screwed. We're so screwed. Crap. Man, that's a bummer. Alright, let's get what we can done. 5. We actually can do the 4 here because it's +2, which is nice. And the 5. Alright, so we were like 1 day short. Definitely could have done better, but can't be perfect. You meet Peak leaning in a corner of the canteen in their typically unassuming way. It occurs to you as you approach that Peak must have had some practice at staying invisible. All good, they look up from their slate. That crew you were talking to. They nod to the group leaving the canteen. Will they join us? That's what they say. You aren't sure. Peak looks back at them as they disappear into the corridors of the installation. Looks like we'll have to take them at their word either way. Peak beckons for you to follow as they peel off the wall and head out into the walkway overlooking the cordon. Glad you were here to talk them into it. I never had that much of a way with people. Peak smiles and looks away quickly as you walk. You and Esh seem to do okay. Peak laughs at their light and easy laugh. Esh is not really like other people, which you probably noticed. If only everybody was like Esh. They fade off, something drawing their attention. What I mean is people have caused me a lot of trouble. I've had people hate me without knowing a thing about me. They tuck a hair behind their ear. They tuck their hair behind an ear. I'm sure you know the feeling. I do. Pete glances at you. Sorry to hear that. It marks you, am I right? I'm going to say I try not to think about it. Don't let me make that any harder. Pete leads you around a corner, heading back to the main cordon accessway. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out on the sleeper, on talking to the crew, and, well, you know. Maybe after this insane plan is done, we can talk properly. They keep looking ahead and realize that they are kind of nervous. I like that. Peak smiles, looking down at their feet. That's settled then, they say to the floor. We better report the news to Esh. We have ourselves a tug escort. Peak stops at an intersection. See you soon, sleeper, and please take care. And with that, they drift away, their head down, their gait changing as they do, their practiced invincibility shrouding them like a cape. Oh, man. Let's see what we got here. And we get a 6, almost kind of slap in the face here at the end. Now, here's something interesting. Plus Briar upgrade. Oh, I guess that's this thing, so, yeah. All right. We'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are, you know what? What we are going to do is we're going to use... We're gonna go for broke. We're gonna use a stabilizer here. I know. There's probably a better way to do this. And on the off chance we get like one more cycle, we'll have the ability to dive all 5. If we had one more day, we would have been perfect. Oh, we are starving. That's not good. She's gone, sleeper. Peak is breathless and shaking. She started the run without us. Esh. Peak looks confused. Who else? Let's go. If we head to the cordon now, Peak starts back up the corridor. They turn back. She has to make it, sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Esh, I hope you know what you are doing. Sleeper. Long time. Moritz smiling at you when you leave. Clearly happy to see you. Moritz, good to see you. So we got 2 storylines clashing now. We did this a little too early. Oh, I'm so bummed. We almost did it. Same. He rubs his hand on his jacket. How you been? Working hard. I bet, he grins. Well, you're always welcome to hang at the bay if you want. He glances around. Actually, that's what I'm here about. I know Bliss said she didn't want to take any more big jobs, but she's changed her mind or something, he grins, because now we have someone looking for a refit of their ship in our bay. You would not believe it. They want their entire ship disarmed, cutting out defense arrays, weapon lockers, ship-to-ship countermeasures, the whole lot. He leans in. We'll be able to start an arms dealership with all the hardware we have up there when we are done. He laughs. Anyways, it's a massive job and we need some hands. Bliss said to go get you. So come on up. Bliss is waiting on you to accept the job. He pauses. It'll be good to have you up there again, he grins, like old times. Alright, well, I guess let's see how this ends up. Maybe we screwed up. I have a feeling we screwed up. You arrive, frantic and anxious, at the cordon. Peak is nowhere to be seen. Then you hear footsteps hammering on the metal stairway Helene's drone led you through before, the one that leads up to the observation deck. You leap up the stairs 2 at a time and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Peak emerges from the light. I know she's trying to protect me, but... It's okay. She chose. But what about my choice, Sleeper? I'm not a child anymore. I can't fight for myself. They turn away. There she is. Peak rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the Climbing Briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. You spot the Climbing Briar, a glint of blue and white, and beside it the red glare of a tug's lights. The tug crew went with her, Peak smiles. I knew they'd keep her word. Okay, so that's one of the things that we managed to accomplish. That'll help. Peak doesn't seem to hear you, but the idea of the crew backing Ash up makes you smile. Maybe this thing will work. You watch as the Briar and its tug escort arc towards the edge of the cordon, demarcated by red lights of the perimeter system. So far so good, the Briar would just look like another refugee ship being escorted into the cordon, at least at a glance. Peak grips the rail as Esh reaches the edge of the cordon, that invisible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Now let's hope the blind spot triggered. You think of the mess of systems you had to wade through to set it up, the delicate contingencies you set to trigger the sensor blackout at just the right moment. Without noise, without ceremony, the Briar slips through the cordon. You await the flickering of alarms, the swarm of drones, but nothing. Just another cycle, just another ship. Esh is in. Both you and Peak let out breath you've been holding and laugh. How did she do it? Peak smiles, shaking their head. We did it. Peak smiles wider. Yes, we did. They laugh. You feel a little shaky from the tension, but Peak's ease helps you settle. You imagine Esh, steely-eyed in the pilot seat of the Briar, searching for a place to dock. Maybe being stubborn has its advantages. You okay? Me? Peak sighs. I think that took years off my life, but I've got to hand it to Esh. She was right. You and Peak look back at the window, turn back to the window, looking for the Briar amongst all those holes. The calm fading as new worry settles in. You spot the Briar first this time, docking with the vast of the flotilla ships. Docking with the largest of the flotilla ships, a vast converted tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get that thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the Briar, unable to get any sense of progress from its placid exterior. They'll be offloading everything now, Peak says, both assuring you and themselves that everything is going to plan. You think of all the supplies loaded into the Briar and how long the process of unloading them might take. The bay was packed, rammed with everything you could offer, and the thought of them bringing all that to the flotilla makes you smile. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome gifts they'll give Esh as a bearer of such gifts. You even imagine a smile from Esh as she is showered with thanks. You focus on that as you watch the Briar and continue the nervous wait for it to finish unloading. It's breaking off. Peak points at the Briar, and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. Esh must have ended things early, but why? Then you see them, the tugs closing in on the Briar. Haven Age must have spotted the ship. You and Peak are up against the window again, willing the Briar a safe path out of the flotilla. The Briar struggles to navigate in the crowded flotilla, and the tugs seem to be closing in on her. Both you and Peak are silent, every bit of the energy you have being sent to Esh in the pilot seat of the Briar. She cuts through the crowded flotilla, then suddenly disappears. Did the ship hit something? Was it disabled? Both you and Peak are searching the black for a sign. Where has she gone? Where are you, Esh? Peak is frantic now, leaning against the window, but the Briar is nowhere to be seen. You both search the flotilla for that streak of blue, but seem nothing. Peak paces the observation deck. The hope fades. I'm just going to stay silent. They caught her. Peak manages to get the word out. She delivered the supplies, but they caught her. They slam a hand against the glass. I'll say we can get her back. This was stupid, Sleeper. Peak looks back at you with her eyes wet. A stupid plan. We had a ship and our freedom. Now what do we have? Peak slams a hand on the glass in frustration, making you jump. I won't be trapped again. I won't. They turn and rush out of the observation deck before you can say anything, leaving you alone with the cold and the light. Oh, man. Jeez. All right, well, we screwed up. Drive failed. That sucks. Oh, man. We definitely should not have started that. So, everything worked out in the end. It's just that we didn't give them enough gas to escape, and then I guess everything would have been okay, so. Oh, you win some, you lose some. That's what happens when you play stuff blindly. Oh, man, I'm bummed. We screwed the pooch on that one. That is for sure. Let's, that sucks. Oh, man. I was so close. Oh, man. If I just would have been a little bit better on everything. I needed one more day. I shouldn't have had the bliss stuff going on. You definitely need to, like, dedicate every single dice you have to that mission to complete it. But you live and you learn. All right. Let us get some food in us before we forget. Very good. And yeah, so kind of a bummer to end on, to be honest. After all that effort, we screwed it up. We got like nearly everything done, but she didn't have enough gas to escape Haven Age at the end. So we'll figure out what happens. I'm probably going to go watch what the proper ending to this is, because I feel like I definitely messed that one up. And yeah, next time we'll do whatever Bliss has for us as one final job. As always, if you enjoyed today's content, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, interacting with the video, all that stuff helps the algorithm a great deal, and I appreciate it as well. This has been Spock Plays, a little bit of Citizen Sleeper. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you next time.